Today I want to show you how I prepare my planters for Christmas. It's pretty easy. I start out with different varieties of evergreen branches, and I get these from my local hardware stores. I go to several different ones. I ask them if I can have their extra Christmas tree scraps, and I've been doing this for 8 years now, and I've actually never been told no. So go ahead and try it. If you are told no, oh well, move on to the next place and hopefully you'll have better luck. But I also use this for mulching after the Christmas season. I go ahead, if I have a tree stump or something here, I place it around several layers for mulching, and then I put a nicer looking mulch over the top of it with some compost later in the spring. But for now I'm going to show you my planter. Like I said, I start out with the different varieties. When I have them, they're a lot larger. I cut them up into pieces. It's best if you cut, put them in, cut, put them in. But to save on time, I have a couple that I've already cut up into smaller, manageable pieces so I can show you. If you look at this one here, it did rain last night, so it's a little frosty. But as the sun comes out more, that'll melt and it'll look a lot livelier later. But you can see how the green, hopefully you can see, the green is a little bit different shades on the front and back side. So I like to start with the silvery back side facing out, plus my branches are sort of curving a little bit. And so when I stick them in, I get the branches to curve down, versus if I stick them in this way, the branches are going to curve up. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that right now. My dirt here, I've been keeping it in the garage. It's a lot easier to do if your dirt didn't already freeze. And it did freeze last night here, so if I hadn't put it in the garage, this would actually be impossible to do right now. I'd have to thaw out my dirt first. So I go ahead and I just start placing them around. You don't have to put a lot of thought into it as you do this part. Try to keep away from touching the house a little bit. I like to have a little bit more dramatic bend in the front, so I'm picking some taller ones that will kind of cascade over. As you're working, you kind of want to step back and look at it a little bit to see your shape and what you're getting. So I'm going to do that off camera right now. I'm going to step back, see how it looks symmetrical from one side to the other, and make a few changes and then show you next. Okay, I like how it looks. So now I'm going to start filling it in with other varieties to give it a little bit more interest and contrast with the different colors. The color's kind of been evened out around it. Again, I'll step back and evaluate it some more and fill in or take out where I feel I need to. So at this point, if you like the round base shape that you've made, you can start adding in some vertical elements. In the past, I've used some bamboo. I'd really like to use a red dogwood, but I don't have any, and I've never bought any. But you can start to use some bamboo if you need some height. You could get different branches. This is a branch I used last year. I left a little piece. I put a little fake berry on it just to give it some color. So anyway, you can start adding some branches in here if you want. You can get some holly and start kind of adding it in around here to get some vertical elements, as well as just fill in with any of your other branches that you have and kind of start to get them to go up in a vertical direction. And then in the past, I've taken some hedge apples and I just kind of sit them around in here. But I'm going to try something new this year, so I will show you what I have planned for this year. I just took out all the branches and started over, but I really like how it looks. I took this red tomato cage. It came red, but if you have a regular tomato cage and you don't want to spray paint it, feel free to do that. Now what I'm thinking here is I saw in a magazine a couple years ago where they took tomato cages and they wrapped the tomato cages with Christmas lights and stuck them out all over their landscape in the yard, and it was really fun and elegant. So I thought, well, I'm kind of going to do the same thing here. Well, I'm going to use the Christmas lights to sort of hold in, sort of like those potpourri cage things that you see at different stores where they have potpourri inside a metal object. I'm going to wrap it with Christmas lights, and hopefully that'll fill in enough of the spaces here that I can fill this with hedge apples, pine cones, grapevine balls. I don't know. I'm going to just play around with it and see what I get. Okay, so for my experiment is I'm trying to keep the hedge apples. They're the heaviest item that I have, basically, that I'm trying to shove up through here. So I want as many hedge apples to fill in this bottom space as I can get, but I don't want it to look like I just stuck a whole bunch of hedge apples up at the bottom and then I'm filling up the top. So I also stuck in a couple stumps, as well as some wood chips that if I see an empty spot, I've just kind of been shoving it in. I stuck the branch. I still want to incorporate a branch in here, and so I just been kind of working with it, pushing things in and around. I felt like this was a good spot to kind of put a grapevine ball, and then I'll probably fill in. I don't have very many grapevine balls, so I don't want to use them all up on the inside. So I'm really trying to primarily keep the heavy pieces and the hedge apples towards the base in the inside, and then put lighter pieces kind of fill in around the outside. And then I'm going to take some more of my Christmas lights and kind of wrap up to about here, and then I'll start to fill up the rest of the way. I'm using some zip ties to tack down Christmas lights anywhere where I feel like I want it to stay and it's sliding around. As well as I got out some twine, and I'm using it to kind of help hold in pieces. Nothing is really falling out, but if it's, on a windy night, I don't want things to be flying around the yard. I used a zip tie to kind of hold these together, and then I took the twine and pulled it down so that the zip tie didn't just pop off the top. Wrapped the twine around some more until I felt like this was going to stay put. And now I'm just going to take in some more greenery in some of the bare spots that I see. I'm just going to try to shove it in. Down here it looks like it could use a little more. Anyway, I'm just going to spruce this up, finish my lights all the way to the top, and finish it off, and I'll show you the almost end product. I won't finish it completely until I decorate the rest of the house for Christmas. So for today, I am finished. Later, when I do the rest of my Christmas decorating, I'll wrap around some of my jute webbing, and I also have, now I don't know where it is, some cedar branches. Oh well, I'll kind of attach them around this swag as I kind of pull it around and make it look a little bit more elegant up top. So I hope that gives you some ideas. If you want to see the complete product, I'll post my complete look for my house. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.